Hey guys, it's Audra and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with my October TBR, which is mostly books for two readathons. We have the Ketchup-athon with Krista from Books and Jams, and then the Weekendween Monster Mash with Gabby from Gabby Reads. So I have a couple extras as well. Real quick, just to wrap up what I did and didn't read for September. I did finish Pieces of Her, which was quite a lengthy book, and I gave it like 2 stars. I just stopped caring through the middle of it, and then it was like, okay, no, I just have to get through it because I wanted to read the sequel, which I got from Books of the Month. I'm not gonna read it, I'm gonna unhaul that. So finished that one finally, and then I also got halfway through this book, The Last Story of Mina Lee, and then DNF'd it because again, I was listening to an audio and didn't remember anything as I was going through it. So I'm sure, you know, it's a good story. I liked the conversations it had about the mother and daughter relationship, the different cultures. It was mostly about this woman who was killed, I believe, or dead. I don't know. Her daughter found her, or it was after she was gone, and like her daughter's trying to piece together what happened. Obviously didn't remember a whole lot of it. Carrying over into October, I am obviously very close to finishing the Book of Harlan, and I'm really enjoying it, mostly because it has like super quick chapters, which I absolutely love. There's like over 100 chapters in here, but this is a historical fiction. World War II, 2 jazz musicians that get captured and are taken to Buchenwald concentration camp. It's based on the author's actual family, and so I've been enjoying that. I'll share more about that, I think, in my wrap up. And then also carrying over, I started the audio of My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, which is the first one that I've read of his. And so I would like to, once I finish the Book of Harlan today, I'm going to use the audio to like power through this one very quickly so I can get to a couple more books before some readathons start. So the first one I'm going to prioritize is The Orphan Witch by Paige Crutcher, and I have had this on my radar since last fall, but I wanted to save it for October. It's about Persephone May, who has been alone her entire life, and she was abandoned as an infant and dragged through the foster care system, and she wants nothing more to belong somewhere to someone. But unexplainable things happen when she's around, changes in weather, inanimate objects taking flight that result in her being cast out. To cope, she never gets attached. She moves around, leaving one town for another, with curiosity over her eccentric behavior inevitably draws unwanted attention. So, you know, it sounds like you have the backstory of a foster care child and then ends up being a witch. So I am excited to see. It says, with the clock running out, love might be the magic that saves her after all. So maybe there's a love story in there too. But definitely want to get to that. And then there is a new middle grade called The Black Slide, and this I have on my radar for the upcoming Kansas Kids Books list for next year. But this is like middle grade horror, which I've never really read before, but it's all about this slide on the playground that if you slide down it, you basically end up in hell. And so we'll see how that goes, but I wanted to prioritize that in October as well. Moving on into TBRs for readathons, I will be first doing the Ketchup-athon between October 9th and the 22nd. And so you kind of like build a burger based off of your choices, and I tried to build one that's closest what I would order, with some things left out along the way, which I'll explain later. But the first one is to pick your burger, and I went with beef, and that's the oldest one on your TBR. And these are all Book of the Month books, by the way, which is perfect because I have a lot that I need to read through. So my oldest one is All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, and this was from August of 2016. So obviously I've had this a while, but I have started it, and I got, I want to say like 50 pages in. I was really enjoying the story, but you could tell that it was starting to get like really deep. So there is a inappropriate relationship between a small child and essentially a guy that gets her, I believe, is it like hooked on drugs or something? I don't quite remember, but it's an inappropriate, a meth lab backdrop. So it's an inappropriate relationship between a child and this man that she essentially like falls for, I don't know. So it's heavy topics, and I've heard, you know, it's one of those that if you can get through it, it's an amazing story, but you got to be able to stomach the things along the way. So we'll see how that goes. And then the second prompt is a burger. So I went with the sesame burger, and that one is an author you've read before. So I have not read more. I've read 2 books from Colleen Hoover. So this will be my 3rd, and I want to gear up for the sequel that's being released. And honestly, I know nothing about this one. It says, sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Eek. Okay. Bold and Percival novel. It's like a love story. So, I think the whole TikTok, internet in general is going through Colleen Hoover books. So I need to get to this one, so I'm ready for the next one. And then the next part of the prompts is the condiments. And so it was like ketchup, red on the cover, mustard, yellow on the cover, and then white for mayo. I usually just do ketchup and mustard. So for ketchup, we have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. And this is a thriller, like a relationship thriller between a man and woman who have been married for 10 years. And they go through like the anniversaries. And yeah. It's over time. It says 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and the anniversary they will never forget. Think you know the person you married? Think again, which is terrifying, but I've heard some really great things about this one, so I want to get through that. And I'm hoping to find all of these on audio, so we'll see how that goes. I know the first one is not, but we'll see. This, for the mustard, I'm going to also combine it with the toppings of pickle for a book you've been influenced to read. This is You're Invited, which is another kind of, it's not the anniversary. This is, I believe, at a wedding that somebody shows up dead. What could be worse than your ex-boyfriend marrying your childhood best friend? Getting accused of her murder. So I'm influenced to read this by Kayla over at Books and Lala. This is the Literally Dead Book Club pick of the month. So I will be reading that one for sure. Well, hopefully. We saw how well my last month went. And then the last one is, I added bacon. Maybe. I don't always get bacon, so this is like, if I have time, we'll get to this one. Bacon is the most anticipated one, and this is actually my one from last month. The reason I'm not committing fully to it is because it is giant. And it's another heavy topic one. So you have the attic child. These are 2 kids, I believe it's 100 years apart, that have been locked in the same attic, and it's kind of their stories. I'm a real sucker for like a book that goes back and forth between 2 time periods and then connects those time periods somehow. So I'm very intrigued by this one. I just obviously know that it's going to be a very difficult read. It does say it's dual narrative of love, loss, identity, and centering 2 children separated by decades who, bound by a secret, find themselves locked away in the same attic years apart. So early 1900s and then 1974. So we have some difficult topics going on there for sure. If I have time, which I'm not going to, but I would also like to read The Lost Apothecary. It doesn't really fit into a prompt, but it is rather short, and it's a book of the month book, and it has like spooky witchy vibes to it because it is a forgotten history, a secret network of women, maybe witches, a legacy of poison and revenge. Welcome to The Lost Apothecary. So I believe they get, I don't know, they sell disguised potions to use against the men who oppress them. So I am all for that for sure. And then the last weekend of the month for Halloween, it is the Weekendween with Gabby and the Monster Mash. So it's Friday the 28th through Monday the 31st. So it's just a weekend readathon. So I'm not going to get a whole lot of reading done, but I would like to at least try to participate. The first challenge is a coin toss. So I have my coin here, but I'm not going to toss it yet. It's honestly going to depend on whether or not I can also get one of these books on audio. I'm going to combine the coin toss, I think, and the audio book challenge. So I don't have to have 4 separate books for one weekend that I know I'm not going to get to. And so what I will do is 2 books that are available for audio, I will flip between. I'm hoping I can get these following 2 at the same time. When the Reckoning Comes by LaTanya McQueen and Hidden Pictures. So this one is like everybody talks about, kind of has like Get Out vibes. I know it has to do with like, I think it's another wedding, is it? I don't know. Yeah, a wedding at a plantation that has been turned into a vacation resort, and like things that are happening that are strange. And then Hidden Pictures is a child that's drawing all these insane pictures, and it's like a thriller. There's pictures in here, but both of these are some of Gabby's favorites, so hoping to get to those. Another challenge on there is to read a book with a monster on the cover, and the Mom Advice Book Club book is A Cosmology of Monsters for this month. And this sounds like, I heard somebody else talking about it actually today in another YouTube video. Basically, they run like a haunted horror experience, but like the creatures there are actually real. So we'll see how that one goes. Again, hopefully getting the audiobook of that. And then another book that I don't have in my hands yet, I ordered it from Book of the Month. That challenge is Read in the Dark or at Night. We'll see how that goes. But the title, Daisy Darker, has dark in the cover, or on the title, so I'm going to go with that. And I know it takes place on Halloween, and so it'd be the perfect time to read that, like the only time of the year that you could read it. So I'm going to try to do that. It takes place like Halloween night. It's kind of like, I think the grandmother dies on this island, and then they're like trying to piece together like who done it kind of thing. So gonna do that one. And somehow, if I have more time, I picked up recently Nothing But Black and Teeth, which is a tiny novella thing that's horror. And then I also picked up a longer book called From Below from Darcy Coates. This is like depths of the ocean kind of horror, which is terrifying. But I read another book from her, I can't remember what it's called. It was a haunted house book. I read that from her over the summer, and I actually enjoyed her writing. It was very simple, very easy to get through, and it's kind of like one of those binge reading kind of things. And then this one is highly recommended. So anyways, there's a lot of reading to get done this month, and hopefully I'll get to at least half of it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to try to do as much as I can. Audiobooks will be saving my soul in October. So if you have read any of these, or you plan to read any of these this month, let me know down below, and I will talk to you next time. Bye guys.